Okay, here we go. We're gonna do the most millennial thing ever. We're gonna get nostalgic for shit that companies wanted to sell us 20 years ago. That's all anybody ever does these days. It's just an endless cycle of be ironic and consume product. But anyway, I feel like, gaming commercials on a conceptual level aren't really a thing anymore. Times have changed. Why bother to build sets and hire actors and write a script when instead you can just hire a YouTuber to promote your game? That'll get it out to more people anyway, and probably for less money. Hello, my name is Markiplier. I'm gonna get you. Anyway, so let's start the commercials here.
At this very moment, countless battles are raging.
Alliances are being formed and broken.
Legends created and destroyed.
At this very moment, new worlds are being discovered.
Codes broken.
Strategies devised.
Records shattered.
At this
Very moment, all across the world,
it's growing.
It's evolving.
At this very moment, we are
PlayStation 2 online. PlayStation 2, now just $149.
I like the cinematography of that one. The idea that people from every corner of the developed world are coming together to engage in this exciting new thing. If you also buy this thing, that means you'll be a part of something for once in your life. Exciting stuff. If only there was a better product to actually back it up, though, because as we all know, the PS2's online services were rather lackluster. You know, there is that old rule that competition shapes the industry, and, if Xbox wasn't around that generation, there probably wouldn't have even been any kind of online components for the PS2. They really only did that because they were trying to compete with Xbox Live. And that's a pretty good deal that you could get one for only $150. One of these days I want to get me just a used PS2 off of the internet and maybe do some of those fancy mods to it so you can load the games off of the memory card or however it works. That would be real cool. Okay, what do we got next?
Your fate has been written. You will die.
One fate, 1 million ways to defy it. Prince of Persia, Warrior Within. Available December 1st. Rated M for mature.
That was definitely a video game. Did any of that even look fun? Gosh, Ubisoft sucked even back then. I saw a YouTube comment once saying that Ubisoft was basically French-Canadian EA, and, well, I'm inclined to agree.
Today we're gonna test the tractor beam from Ratchet and Clank Going Commando. Oh, nice, dude. Nice job, nice job. No, turn it off! Sweet.
The Tractor Beam, one of 51 weapons and gadgets now fit for this world. Rated T for teen.
Yeah, I like that one. And taking the concepts from the game and imagining them in real life. That's the type of stuff that I used to think about a lot when I was a wee little lad. Imagining how all these fantastical game things would work if I were to bring them to school or McDonald's or wherever. They're trying to show you that each and every item in the game is an interesting thing that's worth thinking about afterwards, and not just some crappy DLC that you buy off of a store page and then never think about again. They had another commercial like this I saw once for the same game, and the weapon they were testing out was the chicken ray. And I think they turned one of their friends into a chicken or something. I've been turned into a pickle, Morty.
what it takes to race, battle, and beat anyone who's got the guts to get in your way? Welcome to the world of Crash Nitro Kart. Face off in brutal battle arenas, take on hundreds of hazards, and use a ton of power-ups. Critics call it the best kart racer on PlayStation 2 and Xbox this year. It's time to do some serious damage, Bandicoot style. Crash Nitro Kart, rated E for everyone.
That quote that they used really kind of sums things up. A best kart racer on PlayStation 2 and Xbox this year. So that they couldn't say that it was the best across all three platforms. Well, it's definitely not better than Mario Kart. And they couldn't say that it was better than racing games of previous years. They couldn't even say it was better than racing games of that year. They had to specify kart racer. It's okay, when you take out Mario Kart and then also all other regular racing games, and then all kart racing games from previous years, then when that's our competition, we're doing pretty darn good. I think the question that needs to be asked here is, were there even any other kart racing games on PS2 and Xbox that year? It was probably the only one.
My name's Jack. Dead to rights, rated M for mature.
Well, that one certainly had a more minimalistic approach. There was no background music as Discount John Wick was doing his cool stunts. Just the sound of wind. I guess it makes it more realistic in that sense.
The human race is facing extinction. You are the last line of defense. Defender, save our species. Exterminate theirs. Rated Team.
So yeah, that reminds me that I guess in the PS2 era it was something of a trend to try and modernize old arcade games from the early 80s and make them three-dimensional and such. There was that, and then I think there was also like a 3D Space Invaders for the GameCube. You know, I guess the remake is as old now as the original was back then. It's almost time to remake it again. To that commercial's credit, they did do a good job of making the game look fun, but considering I never even heard about it outside of this commercial, I'm guessing it probably wasn't very good and there wasn't much to say.
40 stolen cars. $20 million. One cop. The smash hit driving franchise that started it all is back. Full Throttle. Featuring the voices of Michael Madsen, Mickey Rourke, Michelle Rodriguez, and Ving Rhames. Driver 3. Available now. Rated M for mature.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the same announcer they used for Nickelodeon. You know, he does all the promos and announcements of new episodes and new shows. Yeah, that guy. I guess money's money, you know, you can do edgy stuff, you can do Nickelodeon stuff, as long as it pays. As the sister from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air said, I'll do anything for $10. And I like the way they stylized the Atari logo where it's bouncing between two Pong paddles for 2 seconds. That's a cool way of doing that, and frankly, I'm surprised they didn't bring that back or try to keep it around for longer. Speaking of Atari, did you hear that they bought out Night Dive Studios recently? That's kinda shitty, but nonetheless.
You can control speed. You can control direction. You can control everything except your fellow man. Rated E for everyone.
Professional driver on a closed course. Do not attempt. Maybe one of these days I could be funny and I could put like a do not attempt watermark at the bottom of my Let's Plays.